What's up, Collider TV Talk fans? Josh Macuga here with Thadd Williams and special guest Christian, the Cobbster, Rubalcaba.
Hey guys! Oh my God! My first time on TV Talk. I'm so nervous. I read a book right before that. Is that okay?
No. Get out of here.
Okay.
Listen.
All right. Where's the remote?
No books allowed.
Unless it was an e-book on Audible, unless it was a book adaptation of in a TV show, then yes, sure, we'll give it to you.
It was a pop-out book of American Vandal season 2.
Perfect.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did you find it in a bathroom somewhere?
It was kind of shitty.
Hey. So guys,
That's why we brought him.
This is the spoiler-heavy season 2 review of
Yes.
American Vandal. If
Yes.
you have not watched season 2 of American Vandal, please pause this video, come back in 4 hours,
Yeah.
and then you can continue.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's only really 4 hours. It's well done.
eight half-hour episodes.
I'm telling
so
you.
it's such an easy binge.
The more Netflix does with less episodes,
Yes.
the better and happier I am.
Agreed.
HBO's starting to do it. Barry
I
was a
know.
nice, quick 8 half-hour. That's all
Love
you need.
it.
Awesome.
Maisel was eight hours.
Yeah. The Sinner, I think, this year was 8.
Both seasons.
Both seasons, 8 episodes.
Look at you
Good
guys.
stuff.
You guys should do a show.
Hey, so we're talking American Vandal season 2. I think I have to say that out of the goodness of my heart, I voted for the American Vandal writing team on the Emmys because I really wanted them to win because I think that this is such an interesting because it's not a Christopher Guest mockumentary.
Correct.
This is a legit documentary, mockumentary, true crime series.
It's a frame for frame parody. I'd say it's closer in vein from a writing style to an Airplane or Naked Gun series.
Yes.
Where you're mimicking all the stylistic traits of the genre that you're spoofing.
Yeah.
And I think they do a great job.
I do too.
And it's not just punchline after punchline. It's visual humor.
No.
It's everything. Like at times I found myself watching this season not laughing, just genuinely interested in what was going on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you this now. I'm going to put this on in the front of your cortex here.
So you're going to ask us now, but you're not going to ask for an answer yet.
Correct.
Okay.
What was your favorite joke moment that was real small? Because I have one.
Okay.
But do you know one of those moments where you heard it and you just laughed out loud, but it was such a throwaway
That was the entire series for me.
Paul Schorenberg.
Okay.
The kid who hit the poo pinata.
Yeah.
Anything he said, just
super religious kid.
Super religious. Anything at all. It just
what an amazing character to put
he's so
in this.
good. His
So
facial
good.
expressions are great. Just the first thing he's like, "Lucky me, I was the one who got to hit it." It's just so good. Probably him.
Yeah. Okay, so 8 episodes of number 2 humor, very well done. How do you compare it to the first season?
Well, all right. I think from a story perspective and an overall parody perspective, I think it's actually stronger than the first season.
Okay.
I think that the first season excelled so much because of the central character of Dylan Maxwell.
Dylan Maxwell.
Who was incredible.
Yeah.
And just everything that was coming out of his mouth, his entire aura just captivated you. But I think that this story was a little bit better plotted and crafted with all the different twists and turns. I felt like the first season, when they finally announced the Vandal at the end, it didn't have much of a punch to it because you weren't really invested in it.
Right.
The way that they invest you in who was doing it and why, the kind of group mentality of it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with all that. The only knock I have is that they didn't have that Dylan Maxwell larger than life character.
Yeah.
They had a lot of smaller characters that kind of collectively filled that void, but not one sole character that you could rest the whole series on.
A lot of switcheroos.
A lot of switcheroos.
Good.
That's, I think, the biggest comparison is that whereas the first season was so focused on him because he was the central target, Kevin McClane in this season is that sort of replacement. Not as far as the same kind of character.
Sure.
Whereas each episode introduces almost a brand new character, and it's funny because that each character that is introduced has their own specific quirks to them that makes them interesting. Not on the Dylan Maxwell side, but it's almost like every episode it's like you introduce this person, you introduce DeMarcus, you introduce the rich girl, all these different characters. And I think the closest thing we got to Dylan maybe not so much Kevin McClane because he was different in his own way, but like similar attitude was maybe the basketball player.
Yeah.
I loved, was Darius? Is it Darius?
I think it's DeMarcus. Yeah, DeMarcus, and the other guy was
Lou.
DeMarcus
and Lou.
And then there was Perry, the guy that he looked up to.
Yes.
Yeah. The college, the one that was already off at college.
Yeah, UCLA.
It had the Instagram.
Yes.
Sir Fuxalot?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear, but I just said that.
It's all right.
It's
all
right.
It's a whole.
You work here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
It's a review about a show about shit jokes.
Yes.
This is
Very
8
true.
episodes.
I don't know if we were pandering to kids for this one. Like if we wanted to.
Yeah.
So the kid that played Kevin McClane, have you seen him in something before? He looked very familiar.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't know. As I was watching, I was like, I've seen this kid before. And then right before this, I looked it up. He was in the Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh.
He was Liam Hemsworth.
Talk about shit.
Yeah, talk about shit. But he was also in a really great horror film, a remake called The Sun That Dreaded Sundown. The town that's
You remember
Dreaded
that
Sundown.
one?
Oh,
Yes.
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's really good,
Yeah.
actually. It's really
Okay.
good.
Okay.
But he was a standout for me. Like
Okay.
he was everything. Like his little quirks with his tea.
The tea was getting me
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time.
So
Every
good.
time.
Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja, his
and
band.
how everyone played in. Oh, the Horsehead band.
There was a
Horsehead-
moment, if you're talking about
Yeah.
smaller moments, it's towards the end where he just puts it on and he looks out the window and you just hear him. He's just sighing with this stupid horse mask on. It's so good.
It really is.
The reenactments that they do.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Both pitch perfect parodies of all these all these documentaries that they're making fun of,
Yeah.
but just the lengths that they go to with the production of it and the production value that they put
Well, they
into
even
it.
when they were introing season 2.
Yes.
They even did. They brought those
They
back
brought-
just to remind us that they had these.
Well, and that I thought that was I want to talk about that real quick. The way that they introduced this season by giving them fame and saying this thing blew up. It was featured on Vimeo, on the front page of Vimeo. It was a staff pick. It's a staff pick, which I thought was
So good.
was great. That was great inside joke, inside baseball humor for all these video creators.
Yeah.
And then that Netflix actually buys the series.
Yeah.
And airs it, and then builds better graphics. They do the side by side comparison with the animated jerk off, but also like the helicopter shots and the B-roll photography and the graphics and everything else, so that it makes it more believable.
Yeah.
And suddenly you start to believe it makes everything ring a little bit more true. And then to catapult that into giving them an excuse to go to a brand new school in a different state where, unlike the first season where they're accusing all of their classmates, this time they don't know anyone there and they're completely outsiders.
Yeah.
As opposed to the first season where they were kind of like the outsider kids at the school, but they
Right.
were still like, I think it was this guy because he was a jerk to me, and it felt a lot more personal. This time they got to be like observers of all of this and true filmmakers and really just go look at the whole thing from an outsider's perspective. And I thought that was a brilliant device because if we had seen another, like if they had tried to do another crime at the same high school,
no way,
with like Dylan's younger brother or something ridiculous like that, like it just wouldn't have worked.
No, I agree. For me, what I really liked about it, but I love that angle. Though I don't think a school nowadays would give access to just 2 filmmakers investigating.
Yeah.
But
two filmmakers from Netflix.
yeah. Maybe.
They
Okay.
could-
That's okay.
Yeah.
Good point. Well
Yeah.
said.
That's
Foiled-
also a thing I
foiled
think
once
you
again.
can put
Right,
aside.
right,
If you're talking about realism,
Yes, because especially with spoiler alert, everyone being guilty in
Yes.
like a full on like Agatha Christie style way.
Yeah.
Like the principal has to resign.
Yes.
The teacher is in on it. Like there's so many people that would clearly never have given interviews or any of that stuff. But I did love in the pilot where they're like, Mrs. Wexler declined multiple requests for interview for this project.
That's the funniest thing because like I kept thinking like okay because like when I'm watching like how Making a Murderer,
Yes.
then I'm like there's actual consequences in real life, so it's
Yes.
like I'm rooting for some specific people, and here I'm like of course you wouldn't give an interview. It's like okay well this is obviously leading somewhere, so I can't wait for them to get their own and be like it's a fictional story.
Yes.
This principal is not getting anything.
But you've seen enough of the genre that you know what they're doing. Did you notice, especially in the first episode, they didn't do it as much they did it again in the finale when they chronicled all the social media posts. They had a
yeah.
disclaimer at the bottom that said like
This
these
isn't
are
the real-
these are recreations.
Yes.
The original social media posts have been taken down by the publisher. Like they went to that length for those weird
So
little
smart.
graphical in jokes.
Yes.
I noticed that on the Sir Fucks a lot. Those photos
Yep,
with
yep.
the Rocket Man
Yeah.
or no, the
But
mascot.
They
yeah.
even did it for the videos. They did it regularly for the videos of all the people shitting in the hallways, which then gives you the impression that they let these kids come in and recreate it.
Shit.
Recreate the pooping.
Yeah.
So that they could build the character. It's genius on so many levels.
So there was this rumor in college that
Where's this going?
at the cafeteria that they put in a small amount of laxative in the foods so that if they
think I had that rumor
were
too,
undercooked that you wouldn't get sick or something like that because they had to mass cook so much food.
Sure,
right?
sure.
One of those companies or whatever. So when they started poisoning the food, as soon as he took the bite of the chicken finger, because chicken tender day in college and in high school was the best day,
Yeah,
clearly. I thought they were going to have poisoned the chicken fingers. Like, this makes sense
Blasphemy.
because I've heard this. But then when they poisoned the lemonade, I was kind of happy, so I was
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Of the pranks, I thought my favorite was the poop pinata.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Because the teacher that plays the Kurt Vonnegut lover, which is such a small thing but hysterical.
That was so funny.
Because I had a teacher in high school that loved Charles Dickens, and we had a Charles Dickens Day every year, and I came dressed as Miss Havisham and got kicked out of the class because I was like, "Give me my dress!" Like, I had this old wedding dress on. It was whatever. So I the poop pinata, because it tied back into your favorite character.
Yes.
The Jesus kid, and the actual slamming of the poop everywhere.
Oh, man.
And then coming back and like, I think the last episode when DeMarcus says, "She's a nice lady. She deserves a poop in her eyelashes."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that
was-
caught me on such a visceral level.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah, because I could feel. It was like as I could feel the poop hitting my eyelashes when I
Yes.
heard him say that.
Did you guys see the end result coming, or did you? Because I was kind of fooled because the guy that they end up blaming or whatever was such a small character. They
Yeah,
put
but
him
I
away.
loved the way they did that because I didn't. I don't know about you. I didn't guess it in advance.
Okay.
But the moment they started the catfishing, and they asked her the question about like, did you ever lose your phone? It was like, she broke her phone. There's a I literally out loud
Started
to my
piecing
wife
it
was
together.
like, there's a phone repair place.
Yeah.
We've seen him. He's there. He got kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this makes total sense.
Yes.
As opposed to the first season where it was one of those 5 kids that they were profiling and
Right.
it was there was a cover up and the girl. Yeah, like it didn't have the same impact that I felt like this one did. And then the twist about blackmailing the people to do it and it being a whole catfish thing, which is brilliant. And the whole social media thing. I mean,
The message in general about
Yeah.
social media was like, I by the time the show wrapped in the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, I was on the verge of tears. I'm like,
Yes.
this is like beautiful. This
Yeah.
is like I felt so much for Kevin McClane, how stupid this person is.
Yes.
Just as not stupid, but he's just a very awkward person. Like I felt for him. Like I wanted to be like that moment. He has that moment where he talks to the directors and he's like, maybe we can have a relationship, not just social media, like
Right.
just us
Real.
hanging out. I'm like, oh, and then my girlfriend's watching too. She's like, oh, like it's just like, oh, this feels so good. This is so
Conversations
nice.
with people is a lost art.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
But I thought that they did a great. All the catfish stuff. It was funny, but it didn't feel like they were mocking it.
No.
It was a pitch perfect explanation almost of what that's like. I mean, I've watched a lot of the Catfish show on MTV because my wife really likes it.
Yeah.
And the original documentary is an incredible doc.
Interesting.
And I really like it as a film. The TV show gets a lot of these kinds of people. People like Kevin, popular people like DeMarcus,
The teacher,
broken
yeah.
people like the teacher or the rich girl that
Or the
Jenny.
kid with the diaper in the friend zone.
Dipey was incredible.
Yo, like, I didn't even know your body could bend like that.
The fact that and then they kept the blur just kept getting larger and larger,
Yeah.
and everyone kept, like, and then what's his name, the camera guy, when he just like
Gillis.
inserts his name, he's like, how did you how'd you know that was gonna fit?
Yeah.
Like the level that they just kept making
Yes.
you question all that.
Yeah.
But like that show has really opened my eyes to the fact that there's so many people out there that are longing for human interaction to the point where they will get duped, and they will put themselves out there. They'll do ridiculous things. They will put themselves in compromising positions, and they'll go above and beyond and do really bad things for the attention, or not even the attention, but just the connection that they're longing for. So I thought that they did a good job of highlighting that without making fun of it and still being funny.
It shares perspective from so many different like angles of like a clique. So you've got like the jock, you've got the Instagram model. You know, it made me
modern day Breakfast
made
Club.
me feel like sympathetic for like people that post pictures like that. It's like maybe people are actually going through this, as opposed to just posting photos all the time and looking happy all the time.
Right,
same thing with the jock. It's like, you know, he wasn't like a
Lonely
like a
Island.
bully jock.
No,
but
he was a big man on campus. Everyone's my friend sort of jock.
I love the kid that he's like Asian Josh, I think.
But he's really Mexican.
He's really Mexican. Oh man, no, I thought it was a very heartfelt ending. I two of my favorite like slow-mo reenactment things, you know, because they have those mockumentary, were the eating of the mozzarella stick that had the perfect steam coming off of it, and then when Kevin McClane drops his bag of condoms and lubes,
the 40 boxes of condoms he buys. Genius.
Just brilliant. And the fact that his catfish was more of, I want a girl, and I thought this is real kind of a thing was really cool. I think all in all, I mean, I don't know where they go from here, but...
Well, I mean, this was their senior thesis.
Right.
So, in theory, if they did another season...
College.
They'd be freshmen in college, or maybe out on their own, like not at school anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think the next one they did would probably I bet they do a comedic look at fraternity hazing.
That's pretty
in
good.
college.
That's good.
Because there are a lot of moments in this season specifically where it almost felt like they took a crime documentary about a school shooting and just replaced it with poo flying everywhere, because it was a lot of the same themes, a lot of the same conversations. Our buddy Adam Ray,
he was
doing the coerced interrogation, and like they were talking about serious problems that are happening in schools all over the place. They just did it in a very funny way. So I could see them taking the very serious problem conversation that we're having about school hazing and turning that into something absurd.
I like that, because they poked fun at the idea. It was like, we even got a murder case.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, okay,
that was great.
Are they going to eventually do like an actual murder case?
That was funny.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm surprised though. Like, I'm excited to see where they go from here, because I think I fully trust them with what they're doing. Because my worry was that, are they going to try to incorporate season 1 somehow? Are they going to bring back Dylan?
Is Dylan going to show up?
Yeah. So I'm glad they didn't mention it. Like, but it's funny though, because it's like in that same universe. So anytime they mention a dick, I just immediately think, is this like a reference, or is it just like coincidental?
Right.
I love the idea of because I watched that show Last Chance U on Netflix, and they had a special after this past season, was season 3, about everybody that we've seen in seasons 1 and 2, which was really cool.
That's cool.
So I think like a standalone episode, Where Are They Now, from season 1 and season 2 before season 3 could be pretty awesome.
That could be very funny. That could be very funny. I could also see if they did branch out to a college, I could see them being able to interact with other, because they could theoretically meet up with people from either season at a third campus area without it feeling like they were shoehorned in. Like
someone cameos or something.
Like I was the whole season kind of waiting for that moment where they video chatted with Dylan for no reason whatsoever.
Like,
and
they need advice.
They didn't do that at all, and I was very happy for them.
I'd love it if they both like the one got into a real serious film school and the other one didn't.
Because they had tension in that first season.
Yeah. They got rid of the tension. They got rid of the romantic stuff. Like I thought when they were moving into this girl's house, I thought that immediately that there was going to be another romantic storyline, and they didn't touch on any of that, which I think worked to their credit for this for the second season.
There's a few times where they disagree with each other. It kind of seem like they get on each other's nerves, but they don't really take it.
One's the straight guy, and the other one's kind of the bro.
But that's also a really
that's
when he buys the hat.
That's
Oh, he's so good.
So
and then the girl's like, I like that hat.
He looks at the camera.
Yeah.
That was my moment. That was my the one
That
moment.
was your moment?
that I giggled. I rewound it a couple of times. I even sent it to my brother. I was like, dude, the hat. He's like, oh, the hat. So good. Because he looks in the camera and he's like, yeah. It's awesome.
Got the hat.
Yeah, for
got
sure.
the hat.
What was your favorite?
My favorite throwaway line was probably the old nun talking about hot teacher or hot janitor.
Hot janitor.
Hot janitor.
Hot janitor was so
Such a
good.
great
Hot
addition.
janitor
Yeah.
was incredible.
Yeah.
And when they cut to because they didn't use the nun, they didn't overuse the nun.
No.
She was great in the first episode to help set things up. When she shows up in the trailer, you and I did the trailer reaction for that. Like we both lost it. We're like, there's a nun.
Yeah.
But in the hot janitor thing, she pops up and she's like, I never knew the hot janitor's name, and I wasn't about to call him hot janitor. And then we were talking about this. That one kid that was like, I used to never see what everyone thought about hot janitor, and then I saw him cleaning that vomit, and I was like,
Yeah. She's like, fuck. Like the sincerity in her eyes.
Yeah.
So good.
So
that
good.
was hot janitor was a great little
Hot
addition.
janitor, great addition.
And then he's just like a crunchy dude in the woods.
in the woods. I got everything I need right here.
growing on my crops.
growing peyote or whatever. Yeah.
That's it. American Vandal season 2. I mean, this is the kind of show that I could watch anytime.
Yeah.
8 episodes of perfection.
Yeah.
It's on, for me, it's on glow level of comedy and enjoyment as far as Netflix goes. I can't wait for season 3 because it's hard to follow up a great season of TV as well as they did.
Because is there like a trinity of like dick joke type humor? Like obviously the first season,
Dick,
They did dicks.
dick,
They did poop.
fart is always the third, but
I
you
think you
can't.
can.
Fart is poop.
They didn't even really do so much farting in this one at all. You know,
I don't know. I
What's beyond
genuinely
that?
I don't know where they go from here.
They mix it together. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
Mix it.
don't know.
It's
We can do
yep.
blood and semen. Not mixed together. It's a reference. It's a movie.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, I'm at Josh Macuga.
At Thadd Williams.
At Cops 15.
Subscribe to the channel here. If you were just watching this for American Vandal and you've never seen a full episode of TV Talk, you can.
How
subscribe.
dare you?
You can
How
subscribe
dare
to the
you?
channel
Don't worry, I'm never here. So don't
every
worry about it.
Friday. You can come whenever you want, Cobbster.
Oh,
We're
okay.
glad to have you, buddy. You can-
Maniac is coming out this weekend. I'm very.
Oh, is that this
excited.
weekend?
This weekend.
Emma Stone.
Ooh, it looks good.
Yes.
Justin Theroux.
Oh, is that who's directing it?
No,
No,
he's in it.
Oh.
It's directed by Cary Fukunawa,
Oh,
the current
James Bond.
director of James Bond 25
Yeah,
until
okay.
they fire him.
Emma Stone, Jonah Hill.
hey.
And it's a limited series, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that could be an Emmy contender for next year.
Let's see.
Subscribe to the channel here, 5 stars, rate it, tell your friends. This episode airs on the Collider Podcast channel. If you don't subscribe to that yet, subscribe there. We're here all the time just talking TV. If you want us to talk about anything else, we're happy to do it. Until then, make sure you wipe up after yourself, put down the book,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, no, this is bad.
pick up the remote.
What a shit show.
Thanks, Cobbster.